This is The Recap, a weekly reflection on the sermons of Fellowship Baptist Church in Mainville, Ohio, seeking to help you make Jesus essential in every aspect of your life. I'm your host, Ryan Land, and I'm here with the preacher of this week's sermon, Brent Wilson. Welcome, Brent. We're back. We're so back.
So back. Never been more back.
We've never been more back, except for the last time that we were so back.
But we're more back now.
We're more back than we've ever been.
Yeah. It's been a minute.
I saw, it's like your teacher would have inspiring posters around the room, like in their classrooms and stuff. And I saw one. It was supposed to look like that, one of those inspiring posters, and it said, "Just remember, in every it's so over, there comes a we are so back." That's what the opposite of we're so back is. It's so over. Or if it's the
catastrophe.
It's Jover, and it's a picture of Joe Biden going, and it says it's Jover. It's him looking disappointed. So it's Jover, and we're so back.
We're so back.
Wait, what did you just say?
It's like a eucatastrophe.
A eucatastrophe. We're being so bad.
Being so over, so bad.
When the Eagles are flying in to rescue Sam, and he's like, "We're so back." Right before it's never been more over. Okay, well, we just started a new sermon series.
Indeed.
In the book of Judges, which I thought you made a very interesting point that I've never thought about, because I just grew up in church. And so when I think about the book of Judges, I just think about the biblical judges. I've never once thought about like a guy in a robe.
Oh, yeah.
Like behind a podium doing guilty or not guilty, thinking about the biblical book of Judges.
Yeah.
But I did think, oh, that makes sense that people would think that, because it's the exact same word. So that was just funny to me.
That is.
And so now you put it in my head. Now every time I'm thinking like Gideon with like
a robe,
and like a powdered wig, like he's a judge in England.
We should make a skit and do it.
Okay, well, on that note, here's my icebreaker.
Okay.
If you were going to make a limited series,
oh gosh,
about one of the judges, who would it be? What would like the tone be? Like what kind of show would it be like? Okay. And who would you what actor would you get to play the judge?
Okay. Well, my first thought is actually more of like a Game of Thrones-esque, like where it's like really big and actually do all the judges.
Okay.
And it's like, or like
going through time.
Yeah, it's like
Marco Polo in there was a Netflix one where it's like it went through like different eras.
Yeah. I'm thinking of that. What's the space one on Apple TV?
For All Mankind?
No. More futuristic. It's like the opposite of Dune.
Gosh, I know what you're talking about. Jared Harris is in it.
That one.
Yeah.
Because it spans thousands of years.
Yes.
So kind of that thing. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick Samson. I feel like.
Yeah, he's a go-to.
It's so fascinating. And I think the tone would be like more like a love story gone bad.
Oh, interesting.
A
little romance.
Yeah. I think
who's playing Samson? Oh wait, finish this though.
Well, just like one of less cheesy, but like one of these Hallmark movie sort of things, or like I don't know.
That's a hilarious skit. It's like the trailer of the Hallmark movie about Samson and Delilah.
But gritty. Not doing the gritty, but like gritty.
That's TTY, and the dance is DDY. The gritty.
I can't. Oh, who was this actor?
The Rock. Do you know who's the perfect Samson?
Who?
I think the dude that's on Reacher.
The white guy?
Yeah.
The main guy?
Reacher.
He would be a good Samson. That's true. No, I'm picturing.
You're saying because he's white, he can't be Samson?
I guess.
Yeah.
Because I'm picturing a black guy. I'm picturing this guy that I'm trying to think what's he in? He's like this huge black dude. Sometimes he has dreads. Gosh, I don't have to think about who he is. Get back to you, but
I don't know. What's he in?
I can just picture him. I don't even know.
Oh, Luke Cage.
No.
Oh,
gosh. I can't think of what he's in. But yeah, but a big dude for sure.
Oh, for sure. I think I would.
And I'd want it to be like pretty like violent.
Oh, I think it has to be. The other question I was going to ask is like, if you were a judge, what would you want your signature weapon to be? Because you got Jael with the tent peg, you got Samson with the jawbone. So they all got kind of a
You got this guy this week. If I may mention, he's like, there's like one verse about him. I can't even think of what
Let's
his name
go.
is.
We love characters like that.
And he
Tom Bombadil.
Yes, he picks up a goat. It's basically a branding iron.
From just goes after people.
And he kills like 400 Philistines with it.
Let's go. That's so awesome. That's so rad. See, I was picturing kind of like a Western, like kind of like trekking through the wilderness, hunting down Philistines or whatever.
Could you do it like this? Could you do like a modern retelling?
Yeah, I'm not really. I'm not really into that. Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. But okay, like who would play like Jael?
Oh, I know.
Who?
I got it.
Who?
Starbuck.
Oh yeah.
I don't know where to really.
Me neither. I know you're talking about this from Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
I was thinking. I don't know how old Jael is. I don't know if she's older or what. But there's this woman on 24 who is Middle Eastern and is like a mom.
Oh yeah.
And she's got this like really distinct,
she's the terrorist,
kind of like interesting voice.
Yeah.
She would be really good.
Yeah.
Like also this is not related, but we just haven't talked about this. Did you see they're making a Moses show? The people that made House of David?
Wait, is it the funny one?
No,
it's like The Office?
No.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah. No, that's funny. And I'm like, I sometimes get uncomfortable watching.
And there's the guy that's like the Egyptian. He's like, yeah, I just kind of like snuck in and they don't know. And then goes the other guy like, no, we totally know.
Yeah.
Which one are you talking about?
It's so the people that made House of David are making a Moses show. And Ben Kingsley is playing Moses. He played Gandhi. He's in the Prince of Persia movie.
Okay.
He's in Iron Man 2. He's the Mandarin.
Okay.
But he's playing Moses.
Okay.
So it looks interesting. It looked big budget and
okay.
So kind of like that. Kind of like
House of David's good.
Maybe they'll do Judges next.
You haven't watched House of David, have you? Man, season 3 coming.
I don't know. I've got a weird this is a longer conversation. I've got a weird relationship with these Bible shows. Mainly because it's like we'll be talking about something particularly about Jesus.
Yeah.
And kids will be like, oh yeah, I saw this in The Chosen. And I'm like, okay, but it's not from The Chosen, right? It's from the Bible. This is where they got it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've got a weird relationship with the Bible.
Hey, at least you don't have students doing what some of my students did when I was youth pastor, and they were quoting Bruce Almighty or Evan Almighty.
Evan Almighty?
Yeah,
that's a deeper cut.
Yeah.
Steve Carell, pre-Office fame.
Is that pre-Office?
Or maybe like during.
Okay.
Bruce Almighty is certainly pre-Office.
Oh.
So, and he's in that.
Yeah.
That movie is so good. There's so many great little jokes. Like one time he's at a party and he's like got a cup of water and it's like it slightly goes off camera and when it comes back on camera it's wine. It's like when he steps on the puddle and he just steps on it. It's so funny. It's like little stuff like that. Okay, the Judges TV show would be sick. I wonder if anyone's tried to do it.
I don't know.
We should look that up.
Yeah.
Look it up, listeners. Tell us if there's a Judges show. It's probably bad. Okay.
Oh, I know who the black guy is now.
Okay.
I don't want to play him. Have you seen the show with the kid who has like the antlers?
Oh, yeah. It's based on a graphic novel.
Yeah. What is that called? Whatever.
Sweet Tooth.
It's the big black guy that's like his like companion.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
You picture him though?
Yeah, I can picture him, but I don't know his name.
Yeah, that guy.
No, that's good. That show is fascinating.
Yeah.
Very strange. Okay. Don't take any of these as you should go watch this. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Whatever your own conscience permits you to watch. It's like I can't remember if there's anything questionable in Sweet Tooth or not. Okay, let's talk about Judges. New sermon series. What about the book of Judges did you feel was relevant or necessary? I don't even know what the adjective is. Why the book of Judges for just a little abbreviated kind of series, bridge series?
Yeah, I think Judges is fascinating to me because of the cycle. Mm-hmm. Right. They're always doing well, start not doing well, start worshiping idols, and then God disciplines them. They call for mercy. God rescues them. It's just kind of they can't get out of it. And I think sometimes for us, we feel like we get stuck in a cycle. We feel like we take one step forward, 2 steps back, and can never move forward. And like, why is that? And so I really just think it lends itself to this idea I talk about in Starting Point a lot, but don't get to necessarily talk about specifically, which is this idea of Jesus is not the mayor of our life, but the king. doesn't want to be married with the king. It's just like bringing every aspect to the Lord. And so I just think that idea is helpful. And, coming off of Hebrews, where we're like, hey, all this Old Testament, are there all these shadows about Jesus? It's like, okay, well, let's show specifically in a book where it's going to have a hero come again and again and again. And each hero is going to be flawed in their own way. And yet God uses them through this weakness to deliver his people, and how ultimately it's going to shadow Jesus, who comes in weakness of a different kind to rescue his people in a bit of a different way. And so, I think for all those reasons.
Yeah, a bit of like with Hebrews, you've got this kind of you get the reverse angle, right? Like we're looking backwards. And it's like here we can now. So
it's like take what we learned and let's apply it.
Yeah, look forward. No, I think that's helpful. I think another thing is just like, obviously it's not applicable in the sense that we live in a pagan society. So let's go get our brands or branding irons and go after people who are not followers of Jesus or whatever. But I do think this sense of that God has an expectation for how his people are to live in a fallen world. And what he does not want is capitulation.
Oh yeah.
What are you doing?
I want to show you something. So I was reading this today. It's interesting you just say that about living in this fallen world. And I'm in chapter 3. So this is for next week. But it was just interesting because here's the title of this section from chapter 3. Confronting the new sexual revolution, a spirit-filled leader to defeat double evil. And it's just like the whole chapter is about.
Is this by Al Mohler?
No, Eric Redmond. I don't know who that is. But the whole chapter was about like how do we, as a believing people, fight the culture, basically.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like he talks about not being culture warriors, but like how do we navigate it?
Yeah.
Well, that was interesting.
Well, I think that's for sure like a theme of the book is that they're called to this place they're supposed to be, but instead of displaying the Lord's glory, they just capitulate to the world around them and just start living like they do.
It is an interesting sort of distinction between that time and now, where it's like then the call really was to make a theocracy. Right, we're going to make a land where it's only believers live here under God's law. It's like now we live in a world where God's not calling us to do that. Right, we're building a kingdom that's not of this world, and we're not supposed to drive out all the unbelievers. Right?
Yeah, we're supposed to bring them in.
Yeah, but not into like the country, right? Into the church.
Yes,
and it's just an interesting distinction between kind of this Old Testament mission and what it looks like in the New Testament.
And you've talked about the Old Testament. Israel is the come and see.
Yeah, the light
people,
to the nations.
Right? And then Jesus is kind of the fulfillment, the ultimate come and see. And what then he says after his ascension is go and tell.
Yeah.
Go and make disciples, right? And so there's this kind of flip. And so I think it's interesting to think about in Judges, what you have is people who are failing to create a society, a culture, a kingdom where people can come and see the glory of the Lord, the goodness of the Lord. And so for us, the question is, how does the Lord look at us when we fail to be a kind of people who go and tell, right? When we fail in the opposite way that they're failing, how does the Lord look upon that? So that's so okay. Talking about that, talk to us first. Your first heading was kind of more a broad kind of sweep of not even just the beginning of Judges, but sort of all of biblical history leading up to this moment and talking about Israel's divine calling. Give us this is so important. And this happens all the time in my youth Sunday school classes it's like, okay, to understand like this has happened. We were talking about 1 John. It's like to understand what happened in 1 John, what this word or whatever means in 1 John, you got to understand what he's referencing in the Old Testament. And to understand what he's referencing, we actually have to go back 4 books and tell you about who God's people are and what they're supposed to be doing. And so give us just like the broad biblical theology up to this point of who God's people are, what Israel is, and what God's promised them. And then ultimately what we see at the beginning of Judges is what they fail to live up to.
Yeah. I think probably the best starting place without just going through the whole Bible, is starting with Abraham.
Yeah.
Right, so God calls Abraham out of a pagan nation, out from Ur, to, hey, I'm going to make you a new people. And so then gives him a son through miraculous old age and all that. And then his people begin, he has a son. So you have Isaac and then Jacob. Jacob's name is changed to Israel, which will become the name of the people. But then, they spend some time in Egypt, and then eventually they become slaves. They grow so big, they become slaves. So now they've spent some time in Egypt. I think it's like 400 years. I can't remember.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But so they spend a long time in Egypt. They're slaves. Then God rescues them out of slavery. They go. He parts the Red Sea. He defeats the Egyptians and crashing the ocean on them. But then they have some season of rebellion in the wilderness. Spend 40 years in the wilderness. Finally, that generation dies out, and next generation.
You got Moses right through, and Moses dies.
Yep, passes the kind of torch to Joshua. Joshua leads them across the Jordan River to take the
which parts again.
Yeah, takes the city of Jericho. Walls fall down.
Be careful what you walk around.
Yeah, and now you have this mandate. Hey, I promised Abraham, I have a land. He told Abraham, leave your home, and I'm going to send you to a new land. And that was the land of Israel. I'm going to give you this land. And then because of some disobedience and different things, it got delayed. And God said, hey, he told Abraham, hey, your people are going to go be enslaved for 400 years, and then I'm going to blur them out, and I'll give them this land. And so the time has come to take the land that God has promised them. And he's kind of re-upped that promise several times. And so now we're here. This land is yours, but there are people here, and you got to get rid of them. Drive them out. Don't take any gold. Don't take any possessions. Actually, it's not when they take Jericho. They take some city.
It's a different city.
And there's a guy named, what's his name? I think it's when it's not when they fight AI.
No, I think AI.
No, I think AI beats them. It's the little tiny people that beat them.
Gosh, what is that dude's name? Nathan is like kicking himself.
I know. He knows it. He's such a Bible guy.
Gosh. I can only think of Laban, and that's not what it is.
No. But whatever his name is, he
buries it.
He plunders something, some gold or whatever, plunges it, he buries it in his tent, and they start losing battles. And so then Joshua's like, somebody's disobeyed the Lord. And they find him out, they kill him, they kill his wife, they kill his kids, they kill all of his animals, they burn everything.
Yeah. So I'm looking it up.
And so it's like, obey the Lord. But they're here. You got to drive out.
Achan,
that's it.
Are you aching for some? He was aching for some treasure.
So got to drive out the people.
Yep. Okay. This is just because we just did this series on David not too long ago, and at the beginning of that story, the David's they're like demanding a king, and obviously the judges aren't kings, but you also have this promise to Judah from Isaac that the scepter is not going to depart from him. How does that I really like the messianic line, like the Jesus sort of the promise of a Messiah? How does that function in the judges, or if at all?
That's a good question. I'm not sure off the top of my head. The judges themselves, I do not think are seedlings. If you will. And so
seedlings. That's funny.
Because it's Rahab, right? And it's going to be Rahab's son. And then I think the next one we learn about is going to be Obed, Jesse, and then David.
Okay. I was just curious. I just never really thought about it. So
but I think that's kind of part of the angst of Judges.
Yeah.
Is we need a king. We're longing for a king. Or even if we're not, it's we need one.
Yeah.
Whether we realize it or not. And the seed's not spoken of.
Yeah.
Right. Where is that?
Right.
And then it's going to at
the line.
Yeah. And then it's the next book where it shows up.
Okay. Okay. My other question is it's a little more of a theological question.
Okay.
But it's about this idea that it just kind of seems like it in the text, but I don't know that it's really this, but it just felt like this, is God's like, hey, I made you this promise. It's like, go do it. And it's not like, or I'm not going to fulfill my end of the deal, but it's like, or it's more like, go do it, or we'll see what we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So it's like, is there this idea that God cannot be faithful. Like let's just, I mean, this is engaging in a hypothetical. It doesn't really work.
Yeah.
Because God's sovereign over all time. So the hypothetical isn't even real. But it's like they don't go, they go compromise or whatever. Is there a point in which they could have compromised and disobeyed God so much that he's like, you know what? Fine. I'm not giving you the land. I'm not giving you the promise.
No, it's certainly a tension in the text. Now, we got to back up, like you said a second ago, and give you a little bit of context.
Yeah.
So you have two kinds of covenants that we label in the Old Testament: conditional covenants and unconditional covenants. So the flood, but God promised to never flood the earth again, is an unconditional covenant.
We hope.
It is not conditioned upon our obedience. God has just said, I won't do it.
Yeah.
The covenant he's made with Abraham is unconditional, right? Abraham has to fall asleep, and God walks the pieces.
Well, that's interesting.
Right? And I'm going to do this. And then there are conditional covenants, right? Like, do this and live. Do this and you'll take the land or whatever. This one feels like an unconditional covenant. God said, I'm going to give you the land. And it's not necessarily that it's like, but if you don't do this, I may not. It's like, no, you've not done this. And now I'm not going to give it to you. And so it feels like, wait a minute. God's going back on his promise. And the other layer of the tension is like, if God does give them the land, his holiness is like kind of a little bit at stake.
It's catch-22.
It's like, okay, you're giving the land to an evil people.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, his faithfulness is at stake. And so Keller talked about it in his commentary a little bit, like, you can't really call it either a conditional or an unconditional. It's just you're supposed to feel the tension. And that's kind of relevant to our lives today. It's like, am I saved? Is God faithful? Is he going to forgive me? All these things. Can I do whatever I want? Or do I've got to, change and follow him? It's like, yeah, you need to live in that tension. You don't want to just say, yeah, you're saved, do whatever you want, right? That's because then you're not saved.
Yeah.
Or hypothetically.
Yeah.
Right. And so
a fundamental misunderstanding of the gospel, at the very least.
And so you got to live in that tension. And if you read the text, he never really says fully, I'm not going to give it to you.
Right.
It's like, I'm going to not give it to you for a while.
Yeah, it's more like we'll see what happens, almost kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like y'all need to listen.
Yeah,
and I'm still gonna give it to you, but it's gonna be later. It may be your children who get it, not you.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
that's helpful, and I think the application is super helpful to be like, that's the tension we live in sometimes, and we just have to trust that God is both always going to be faithful to his promises, because he always has been, and because even in this one, right, even though it takes longer than the people anticipated, he still ultimately proves to be faithful to the promise. So it's the same. I think the application, I think, is helpful in that. Okay, so that's kind of big view of the text. Let's talk a little bit specifically. You say the problem that is in the text is that this disobedience leads to spiritual compromise. So what exactly is the disobedience in the text? And how does that lead to spiritual compromise? And then looking at our lives, right? What are the disobediences in our life that lead to spiritual compromise? Or does all disobedience to God lead to spiritual compromise? So start with the text, and then
in the text, it's God says, drive them out completely. Here's the border. You take them out of there, right? Kill them or drive them out, and they don't. The first chapter is all about all the different battles they fought, and they made treaties or they took them as slaves, right? And so they're still now living in this mixed place, right, with all these pagans, and so the compromise is, well, we won't kill them all. We'll make a treaty, right? And so and that leads to greater compromise, because part of the issue is that the cycle doesn't just, it's not here. It's actually a downward spiral.
Okay.
Things get worse and worse and worse and worse.
It's a funnel.
And so it leads to idolatry, right? And it leads to, like, when you look at who is the Ashtoreth god, right? This is a god of fertility, right? And every god of fertility is a sex god, right? And so now they're into all of these sexual practices that are like,
and probably intermarrying,
and they're intermarrying with the other ones, with the pagans, and so it just leads to more and more chaos. And so,
which one thing I think that's interesting, and we're gonna talk about this later, with the kind of the consequences, but it's like the far-reaching consequences. Because like this is, I would presume, I don't know for sure, this is the first time you see the Asherah worship, like the Asherah pole.
I think so, yeah.
And it's like that doesn't go away for the rest of the Old Testament.
Yeah.
It's like that is a problem. It's like you go
keeps coming
post David, right? When the kingdoms are split, you've got King Josiah like knocking down the Asherah. It's like this is hundreds of years later.
Yeah.
And we're still dealing with this.
Yeah.
So it's like if we just obeyed God 400 years ago, then it's like we wouldn't be having this problem now. Yeah. So I think that's interesting that it's, in this what we would think is maybe a small or a disobedience of kindness or of compassion or whatever. It's like, oh, but they had good intentions. It's like, but they can't see the horrible consequences it's gonna have down the line.
Yeah, I think so a modern application of this, I think there's probably a lot, but one that jumps to my mind is this idea that we should not marry an unbeliever. Right? Someone does that, they have that disobedience. Right? God clearly says, don't be married to someone unequally yoked to you. And
most of my eggs just have one yolk.
Sometimes you get a double yolk.
That's right.
But then the compromise comes, like there's going to be issues from that. Like now you have kids and you want to take them to church, and now your spouse doesn't want to take them to church. And how do you live for the Lord? Like everything is now this fight and battle, and
you have to compromise.
Yeah, you got to
right?
compromise,
yeah.
and so it's not good.
Yeah. Is there what would you say to the idea that like all disobedience leads to spiritual compromise? Or is all disobedience just on its face spiritual compromise?
Well, it certainly is compromise. And usually just like, we'll use that phrase like sin takes you further than you want to go, costs you more than you want to pay, keeps you longer than you want to stay. And so in a sense, the first compromise leads to more compromise,
Yeah.
So a disobedience is always compromise.
Yeah. And
if we're not careful, it will lead to more.
Yeah. Okay.
It usually does.
I think that's helpful. And I do think, we could probably just sit here and list examples of things that we compromised on that now, 50 years ago, 75 years ago, 100 years ago, that now we're seeing the terrible effects of. And so it's funny. I think oftentimes we can, me and you, we're on the younger side. We're not.
That's right. We are. That's right.
But it's like we can approach things and kind of talk about some ways the church has overreacted to some spiritual compromise. We talk about legalism, and I think we can talk about that a lot sometimes. It's like, but it's just as bad over here on the other side, right? Of the hedonism, the hedonism just as bad as legalism, right? And so it's like the compromise issue.
Define hedonism for people.
Like just do whatever you want, like live however you want, do whatever makes you happy. That was weird. And so like I think a lot of bad has been done in the name of like protecting us from spiritual compromise, but that's not to say that spiritual compromise is better or it's like it's still bad. It's like we want to try to thread the needle. Yeah. Because
and then there's been I think part of the problem here too is there's been a lot of, and this is I think maybe what you and I don't like or cautious against or something, is like there's a lot of times people are saying, hey, that's spiritual compromise when it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's like you're wearing a hat in church. That's spiritual compromise. And we're like,
you got tattoos, right? It says in the Bible not to do that.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Yeah, Jesus has a tattoo, and when he comes back.
It's of his name.
Yeah. What's Alpha and Omega on his thigh, right?
Which one of his names? This is the name of Jesus.
Oh, that's, yeah.
So I just think it's important that it's like, this is a big deal, right? Yeah. Spiritual compromise and the consequences that we're going to talk about. But like it's not any worse than the legalism. And usually legalism is actually born out of like people actually spiritual compromise, like doing some disobedience,
it's an overreaction.
Doing a disobedience, as I just said. Yeah, and it's a reaction against that. And so like just not being reactive, to things going on in the world, I think is helpful. Because that's what they're doing, right? So like, can we just try to figure this out instead of doing what God just told us to do? You had this line that I think was really, really, I think I could kind of feel that air like kind of go in the room. And when you said, it was one of your points, it was like, sometimes we say I can't, when what we really mean is we won't. And so I think that is a very common excuse in our sin, in our disobedience, to just, how are some ways that you see that kind of manifest in people?
Yeah.
And how do you, if you are prone to think that, how do you combat that?
Can I tell you when I said it out loud, the first thing I realized?
Yeah.
I changed the person. I went from I to we.
Oh, funny.
I was like, oh, dang it.
That was very Nathan of you.
So, sorry about that.
No worries.
Grammar people.
I didn't notice.
Oh, wow. You usually do.
I know. I didn't notice. So right now you just said it. I've got it in my, I'm reading it.
That's just how it rolled off my tongue.
Yeah.
I was writing it. So the question is, how do we do that now?
Yeah. How do you see people saying, oh, I can't do that? But what they actually are saying is just like, I won't do that.
Yeah. I think,
you gave some, go ahead. You gave some examples.
Well,
yeah,
I think I use generosity, sharing the gospel with someone, sort of the same thing, I guess, but like even like repenting of a sin, right? You're like when you like really want that thing, and you're like, I just can't stop. Yeah, and it's not that you can't, you won't, right? Yeah. I can't stop drinking. Right. And there are psychological and maybe biological components to that, but it's still a you won't, not that you can't. Other examples.
Well, I think
dating someone or get engaged, getting ready to marry someone who's not a believer.
Yeah, he's like, I can't break up with them. Yeah,
you can actually.
Well, I think the other thing. Well, one thing that's interesting about like the generosity and the like repentance and those things, they're positive things like we should do, and we kind of talk ourselves out of doing them. Yeah. But then also on the other side is there's negative things we shouldn't do, and we can always talk ourselves into doing those things. Yeah. It's like, oh, it's not that big a deal. Or like one thing he says, everyone's doing it. So it's like, can God really be that mad at me? Because everyone's doing it, And so it's like, we're all on the same level.
What's funny about that,
once we get judged.
I've just thought about this. It's like the times that God has done like some mass justice, like fire from heaven sort of things, is when everyone is doing it. It's like Sodom and Gomorrah. Everybody doing it. Fire. Well,
it's just the standard.
The flood.
Right? Yeah. It's like as the standard comes down, then you're like, oh, I just have to meet that standard. Yeah. You're not thinking about
the actual
God's standard, right? And so I think it's we can talk ourselves into doing anything we want, and we can talk ourselves out of doing anything we don't want. It's like we need one reason to do something we already want to do, and we're good. I'm in. Yeah. Got it. Yeah. And we need a million reasons to get out of something.
And really what's so interesting about that is I think Keller's got this book on preaching where he talks about the heart is this just like center of a person, and that is like a little triangle, and he's got like the intellect, the affections, and the will. Yeah. It's like whatever's in the center of this thing, like you can just convince yourself I'm into that, like you feel because you want it, and then you do it right with your will. And so it's like to talk yourself into something or out of something, it's not because you intellectually do it or because you can feel your way out. It's what's on the throne of your heart. What do you think's going to make you happy? It's really an idol, right? What do you believe the good life is? And whatever that thing, it's so captivated you that you just intellectually get there quick.
It controls all three.
Yeah. And so you don't need a lot of work to. And so it's like if you want to change, you got to do deeper work about what's in the center of you.
Yeah. It's like you can logic it out all day long. You can have all the feelings you want about it, right? You can try, I think everyone knows you can try to white knuckle, just will yourself to not sin in a specific way. And you're just going to mess up all the time. And it's because of that. It's all three of those things working together and what's driving them almost, like whatever's on the throne, that's what's going to ultimately is going to convince you of what you should or shouldn't do. Yeah. Okay. I kind of forgot where we were. Okay, let's talk about the consequences. That's the next thing. And so you've got this disobedience in the land. They are compromising, doing all these things. And so there's these 4 consequences, more consequences than that, but these kind of 4 categories you listed out from the text. So let's just go one by one. Just give me a little bit on each one. So the first one is the ungodly influence that happens. How do you see that in the text? How do you see that today?
Well, it's the direct result of they don't drive them out of the land, and so now they're there, whether they're slaves or they've intermarried or they have a treaty and they have this little partnership and they're trading or whatever. And so now that's influence quickly just seeps in, right? It's just a syncretism.
Define that.
So like taking another religion and you kind of like combine it with Christianity.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like they never leave Judaism. They don't ever stop worshiping Yahweh. They just like add these things into it, right?
Yeah.
Which I put the Kingdom of the Cults book here because
that's what cults are.
Cults are not typically completely unchristian things. I mean, they are unchristian, but they're not like Islam.
They're
Islam is a different religion.
Yeah.
A cult is something that has kind of taken Christianity and morphed it.
Or another religion. It doesn't have to be Christianity.
Yeah. And so like Mormonism, Jehovah's Witnesses, things like that. And then like a bunch of weird things. Jonestown, right? Using Christian language and those things to whatever. And so that happens, right? And so they have this immediate ungodly influence that just wrecks their life.
Yeah.
Right. And so for us, when we don't know God's word, aren't obeying God's word, well, then we're going to know and listen to other voices, and we won't. Matt Chandler says it the best. Like, we don't know the Bible, we become slaves to what sounds right.
Yeah.
And so these other voices in culture, social media, whatever, it's like, oh, that sounds good. Sounds right. Sounds loving.
It's interesting to me, like the syncretism thing is we don't do it with things that we think of as religious, right? Like they did. You know, we're going to worship Yahweh and Baal or whoever. But what we do is we just try to put a Jesus label on whatever trend or thing we think is going to make us happy is. And so if you have people who what they really need, what they really want, I think because we've been so trained by media and stuff to think this is what's most important in life, is like elections are so important.
The most important election of our lifetime.
That's right. It's this year. It's also next year and also last year. And so what we're going to do is, instead of talking about policy, instead of talking about whatever it may be, candidate, whatever, character, morals, we're just going to say, this is the Christian one.
Democracy is at stake.
And we're going to, and we're going to like, this is the Christian option.
Yeah.
And so we can all just like beeline to that option.
Yeah.
Because that's the Christian one. We just put the label on, and we're going to go see only the Christian movies. You know, it's like it's a Christian movie. You know, it's got to be good. It's like it's a Christian book. But they're a Christian influencer. You know, they post about how they go to church, and so but then what you end up doing is all these things about body image and success and finances and media and culture and all of those things get mixed in because we've put the Christian label on them, or they, the person themselves often will put the Christian label on themselves. Yeah. And so what we do is we syncretize those, undercurrent of ideas with Christianity. Like, Christians have to act this way. Yeah. Christians have to vote this way. Christians have to believe this way.
Yeah.
Because look at all these people who are Christians, and that's what they do.
Yeah. A while back you did a TikTok theology for the youth, which you looked at TikTok videos and like debunked them why they're not good theology or whatever. And I need to do that sometime. Maybe that's our summer series, because almost daily, someone has texted me a video. Hey, what do you think about this?
Is this legit?
Is this good? Is this right?
Yeah.
And they don't know. And I'm glad they do that, right? Because they're thinking about it. But also it's like there are so much Christian, quote unquote, Christianese content that we're ingesting. Some that's a sermon, and some that's just like some 20-something, talking about whatever.
Because anyone can have a platform.
Yeah, and they're a smooth talker. They sound good, and we're maybe already bent to kind of like what they want to say, maybe because it's in our feed, and it's slowly morphing us and changing us, and we just have no idea.
Yeah. And so I think it's funny. This is like a kind of reaction, but there was so much when I was growing up, probably when you were growing up in youth group, about being worldly. Like, don't be worldly.
Burned all our CDs.
Yeah. Don't be worldly. But what that has done is said, if we can, people on the outside, if we can market ourselves, and I I don't know. I don't want to sound super cynical, but if you're branded as a Christian option, then
you were telling me about the poster you had that was like all the bands.
Oh, dude, I love that poster. I wish I had it so I could have it in my office. I was like, do you like Evanescence? Well, that's a Christian band. Is that a Christian band?
I don't know.
Do you like, this band? Then try out this. Do you like Jack Johnson? Then you should try out, whoever. John Foreman. Some Christian guy. So it's like oh, so because it's Christian, I can just take it unpalatable. I can just.
I don't have to think about it.
I don't have to think about it. It's Christian.
Yeah.
How could it be bad? And what that does is it exposes us to ungodly influences, and we do what you were talking about. Is we syncretize worldly beliefs with our Christian beliefs because the worldly belief came in a package that looked Christian. Yeah. So, okay, we got to move on. Well, I could talk about that for forever. Idolatry, right? Yeah. This is related. So how we obviously see them actually worshiping.
Yeah, I think the issue here is that they've opened the door, and by their disobedience, they've opened the door to influence, which is open the door to idolatry. Yeah. And for us,
it's like one leads to the other.
Yeah. When we disobey God, it's directly because we are listening to an influence, something that is preaching to us a different promise, something different to satisfy us. And so we start worshiping something, and we don't realize this, and we're like, we don't worship anything. But John Calvin said it best: our hearts are idol factories. Yeah, our hearts are made to worship something, and if we won't worship God, it's going to be something else. And it's not that we're not worshiping God, right? They're still worshiping God. They're just also like, well, I want my crops to grow, so I'm going to worship the fertility goddess of my crops to grow, or whatever. And so we just do the same thing, right? Whether it's power, money, beauty, success, fame, influence, even just like, I just want peace. Yeah, that's the idol of, I just want to come home and just everything be fine. Yeah. Like whatever.
I don't ever want to be uncomfortable. Yeah. Right. So I'll do whatever I can to just like be comfortable. Yeah. Is it Piper that says all the commandments start with breaking the first?
It's Martin Luther.
Oh, whoa. I mean, him and John Piper, they're like this.
Yeah, I'm Piper probably.
They're born probably like the same year.
Yeah, Luther, every time you break one of the commandments, you first break the first commandment.
Yeah, and so you shall have no other gods before me. Saying to break any of the other.
So when you steal something,
yes,
it's because you had the God. Is this TV I stole is going to make me happy or whatever.
I don't know why, but that made me think of the guy that would like steal flat screen TVs, and he would always stand parallel to the like security cameras and like walk sideways, and so you could never see it because it was thin. and then he'd get to the very last one and he'd turn and you'd see it and he'd walk out the door.
I've never seen that.
It's so funny. So ungodly influence, idolatry, and then there's this idea of the next generation forgetting what the Lord has done. Yeah, and so I think the most important thing you said in this was your children don't care as much about what you say, but they're formed by what they see you do. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, what they saw their parents do was God give them a clear directive, and they halfway do it. And so the clear takeaway is, well, I guess we can just listen to God and then kind of do what we want. Yeah, it's not that big a deal. And I just and they it says that they don't know the Lord, right? But it's not that they don't know who He is, right? They're around all these people telling these stories.
They probably go to temple every week.
Yeah, and so like they know these things, but they just don't care. It's not changing their life. Yeah. And I think like I didn't say this because I feel like I harp on this too much, but like when you tell your family God is the most important thing, and we worship God at church, and that's the most important thing, but they see you constantly choosing to go to the sports game over coming to church, what you say doesn't matter. What they see you do is church is negotiable. Yeah. The baseball game's not.
Yeah. Or even, I don't even think, say you're even at church every Sunday. You neglect your sports career, your sports teams, say we're not doing it on Sundays. But you never talk about God. You never talk about
just like in your home
Jesus.
Normally.
Yes. It's like the only it's not a topic of conversation in your house. Yeah. It's like we just go to church. We go to church on Wednesday nights. We go to whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
But it doesn't trickle down into the rest of your life.
Yes.
No, I think you're absolutely right.
It's like that is also, you know, because I mean, I'm assuming that they were going to, you know, to synagogue every week.
Yeah. So your kids will come out saying, well, church was important, but
Yes.
like following God wasn't really.
It doesn't actually,
Yeah.
it doesn't really change anything about my life.
Mhm.
And it's like, but I go because it's good and that's what you do.
Yeah.
But it doesn't change what we do at the dinner table.
Mhm.
It doesn't change what we do
Yeah.
week to week. And so I think that's super dangerous and is, like you said, more of a testament of who God is
Mhm.
than just saying it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I really was struck just by this thought of, you know, God cannot, I mean, can, but is not going to part an ocean for every generation.
Mm.
And so how do they see God at work? Because that's what the whole idea was.
Yep.
That this generation had seen the works of God, and the next one hadn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, they have to see God at work in you through your obedience.
Yeah.
And through how God is changing you and molding you and all these things. And so they didn't see that in their parents.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a very dire warning to parents. You know,
Yep.
it's like this could very easily be you.
Mm-hmm.
And so be diligent in
Mm-hmm.
not just telling your child about the Lord. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
But what's better is showing and displaying the Lord's character
Yep.
in your life.
Yep.
Okay, last thing was the discipline of the Lord. How do we see that in the text? And are we still under the Lord's discipline today?
Yeah. We just went through Hebrews. Hebrews very clearly tells us that he disciplines those he loves.
Again, no gotcha question when you're studying the Bible. Dang it.
Yeah. I mean, the most clear thing is that it's discipline. I mean, it kindles the anger of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And he raises up plunderers to plunder them. And he gives their enemies into their hand and strengthens their enemies to take them out and all these things. And so God is very much taking people, he's breaking down their lives, putting them in misery to wake them up, right? Because what's more important than your comfortable life is your soul.
Yeah.
And God is more concerned about their soul.
And also God has the full picture.
Yeah.
And so he's like, if I don't do this, it's going to be worse down the line.
Yeah.
You know, and not just for you, but for generations to come.
Yeah. It's what a parent does, right? I'm going to spank you now so that, you know, you lied to me. And if you grow up to become a liar, no one will trust you. Mm-hmm. Your life will turn into just horrible because you'll have no friends. You'll your life will be miserable because no one will trust you and all these things. And so it's like, I'm going to spank you now, a little pain now.
Yeah.
So that you can avoid the larger pain later.
Right. Yeah. So how then, your final point, the answer is an eternal Savior. How then is Jesus kind of the key that unlocks this truth, this story for us?
Well, a judge is a deliverer, and he's come.
Not a guy in a powdered wig.
Not a guy in a powdered wig. And he's come to save people. And each judge is going to do that in a unique way. But most of them through weakness, but sometimes just, you know, militarily. But every time they die, the people turn back. And so Jesus is the deliverer who comes, who one lives in a way. All the other judges were flawed and the people were flawed. Jesus is going to be the perfect follower of God, perfectly obedient to God, never halfway obeys, fully obeys. And he goes to the cross in weakness. He doesn't take up an army. He goes and dies. And through the weakness, he actually secures victory. And that victory is given to us as if we did it ourselves. And so he comes to deliver us. And because he's a resurrected to never die again, we don't have to constantly wait for more deliverers. He's constantly advocating for us, constantly able to break any cycle we get ourselves in. It's constantly there to help us break the chains of sin or whatever. And so we never need anyone else. Mm-hmm. And we have that forever. So
yeah. The other thing that struck me during the sermon was just like in this sort of character of who God is, that they're going to keep messing up, but he's going to keep sending judges. Mm-hmm. It's like he's going to keep trying to pull them out. Like, because he could just, after the first one, he could just, you know, it's like, all right, well, this isn't working, so forget you, you know, and he does that. He just judges. All right, you don't want any more judges? You want a king? Here's a king. You don't like that king? Here's another king. It's like, we're just going to go through it. God's going to be so patient until the moment where he says, I'm going to take the worst of the pain, right? Like the discipline. You've gotten a little bit of the pain, but so you don't have to experience the fullness of the punishment, the fullness of the justice.
Yeah.
I'm going to come and take it on your behalf.
And it's an interesting thing. You know, I think oftentimes I like to make a distinction between discipline and punishment, right? Punishment being this, like what happens when you go to jail, right? It's not to correct you. It's just that you did this, you did A, so you deserve B. But discipline is corrective. So Jesus took the punishment that we deserve so that God only has to discipline us to correct us and to help us change.
Yeah. Towards a purpose.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, any final words? Any nuggets about next week?
Well, if you're ready, if you want to prepare for next week, go read Judges chapter 3. And I almost brought my sword down,
bro,
just to have it on display or whatever.
I can bring mine's like a saber. It's tiny.
But you be thinking about like the guy we're gonna look at is left-handed, and it makes a big deal about him being left-handed. And why is that?
Like Inigo Montoya.
Oh,
remember that?
You killed my father
in The Princess Bride when he's like,
prepared to die.
I hate to tell you, I'm not left-handed. And then the other guy's like, neither am I. And then they keep fighting.
And so, but it's the story about the really fat king and
the left-hander and the fat king. That's
a great book title.
All right.
What a great book.
Thanks for joining us, Ray Ortland. Thanks for joining us for the recap. We hope this conversation has encouraged you to keep striving to make Jesus essential in every aspect of your life. If you aren't part of our church family, we'd love to meet you on a Sunday morning. We gather for worship at 10:30 a.m. For more information, you can always go to myfellowship.church. Thanks for listening. Be blessed.